Welcome to the High Ground Podcast. I'm Stevie.
I'm Callum.
And today we are concluding our year-long celebration of Indiana Jones with the commentary track for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the 2008 classic, which a lot of people really don't like.
I've been looking forward to this one, actually.
Same here. I mean, let's have a look. It was made in 2008 with a budget of 185 million. Took a US gross of 317 million and a worldwide gross of 790, which is making it the most profitable Indiana Jones, with the least profitable one being Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Understandably.
Yeah, but then again, if you go from between 89 and we've got the 19 years between 89 and 2008, adjust for inflation, then but I know a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to count in as always. 3, 2, 1, and then bang. So, are you ready?
I am.
Listeners, I hope you're ready. If you're playing along with us, or just listen, because this is going to be a conversation in itself. So 3, 2, 1, and we have the Lucasfilm logo.
Pre-Disney.
Yes. They got such a good deal now, if you think back of it. That's what's going to think when they do the new one, is the whole that's right from the start with the CGI gopher.
It's the only thing I hate about this film is CG. It's terrible.
Yeah. Although I do like the gopher in Caddyshack.
Oh yeah.
That's a gopher, and that's a puppet, and that's even better than this one. I said the one thing is, this is what I read, and I can never blow it up big enough to actually see it, but this car is got the license plate is THX138.
Yeah,
like,
I would imagine it'd be somewhere, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it has got a superb cast.
Yeah, it has.
And I like the way that they've aged Indiana.
Yeah, appropriately.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, they're taking it like from the serialization of the 50s, just as what the first three were for the 40s.
Well, it's like a B movie. This one kind of, isn't it? Like a B movie sci-fi.
And it's gone from Nazis to
Russians.
Yeah.
Which again is quite logical.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf.
Everyone's favourite.
Yep. A lot of people blame him, but he just starred in it. He didn't write it. He didn't make the decisions.
I don't think he's that bad in it, to be honest.
I like the font that they use, the traditional Raiders one. And the rock and roll music, which is very much like George Lucas's second film, American Graffiti.
Yeah. And still the great John Williams.
Yeah. Thing is, you need. This is one of the things which with Indy 5, which is directed by the director of Logan.
Oh, James Mangold.
Yeah, and it doesn't keep with the whole continuity of these four. I mean, love or hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones has been like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
it's 4 with Richard Donner and 4 with Spielberg.
Yeah. I did really actually like the fact that big warehouse from Raiders turns out to be Area 51.
Yeah. When you did come out, with the whole Nevada 1957, you're waiting this long, waiting 2 minutes in to find out where the timeline is. But there was rose tinted glasses big time when this film came out. And it's just seeing Indiana Jones on the big screen for the first time since
when you see
89.
the shadow and the hat.
Yeah. This is the first of the Indiana Jones scores. This is the first one I was able to get a hold of.
Yeah, I don't know. Were they out on LPs?
Yes.
Yeah, but just not CD.
Not to my knowledge at the time, but the thing is, remember, CDs was new technology, and when the first ones came out, I was too young to actually,
Yeah.
So, well, not in '89. I mean, I was buying in '89. But it's now soundtracks are. This is a great reveal.
Nice little fake out there to make you think it's indie, and it's just a fat Cockney bloke.
And the hat,
which I would never say to Ray Winston's
no.
face.
I like Ray Winston.
I do. He's even better as a Russian in Black Widow, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he's good.
Cockney Russian.
Oh, he's. To me, it's I keep forgetting his name. Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
He makes Black Widow for me.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
What's his name again? Sorry.
Crimson. Oh, his real name.
Yeah.
David Harbour.
Yeah, David Harbour. Oh, and the hero theme. Sorry.
That's kind of a play on the old Nazis. I hate these guys.
I always wanted a fedora when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they?
Yeah. And when I got all, when I actually did have one, and that's not, I could never get the brown one like that, but I have a black one.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my, but I define, even though I bought like loads of collectibles, merchandise, toys, but I should go out and buy a hat because of Indiana Jones like that. It's like, yeah.
It was either a fedora or a Stetson for me. I always liked Clint Eastwood as well when I was a kid.
Fedora, it's the iconic look. I mean, thing is, with a film like this, you can get wrapped into just watching it.
Yeah.
Because it's. She looks too harsh, and I think she is so.
She's a naughty girl. She is.
She's Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. For her age, she looks absolutely amazing. Something. Every time I say that about an actress in front of my missus, she always goes, "Yeah, they've had work done though," and I think, all right, jealous.
Yeah. I don't think she's had that much work done. If she's had any, I think she's aging naturally. Because you can still look at her face and you don't see plastic, so I'd say she's aging naturally.
I mean, look at someone like Joan Rivers. Yeah. And you think, she's had work done.
The thing is, you can tell when they've had.
Yeah.
You know what I started to do is I started to look for little hidden little references in, like, anytime you see something written anywhere, I'm looking at it, trying to see.
Yeah, same.
But she has got that. And one thing about Spielberg is he knows how to frame a shot.
He does, yeah. I think she has one of those sort of classic Hollywood faces, doesn't she? Like, you can imagine her in like a Bogart film or something.
Yeah. Thing is, I mean, West Side Story recently was recently released, and it generated what they. Well, I think it was always thought it was buried, because it was released at a time where you're in a pandemic and you're stuck in between major blockbusters of the Raiders theme. Yeah, not Raiders theme, the Swell of Souls, isn't it?
Yeah. I always call it the other Raiders theme.
Yeah.
I think, like, I don't think there was enough time to market it and that, because it would have been like a big event Spielberg film, wouldn't it, normally? Like, this was marketed up the arse, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this had a fan base this was always going to make money from day one, because it has a loyal fan base. And
it was packed when we went to see it at Leicester Square, wasn't it? If you ever get a chance to go to that Odeon, it's great, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. I love it.
It's the only one I've ever been, only cinema I've ever been that's got a balcony.
There used to be one in Leicester for me that I used to go to, so that's. The thing is, they don't make, and there's something I was discussing earlier, was that they don't have cinemas like they used to, and they don't make movies like they used to, and how. I mean, I remember seeing. I'm thinking I saw, it would have been the Odeon. I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull first time, but it's can't really tell you much about that day, but I remember queuing up to see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and I remember the feeling of finding out about Indiana Jones for Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
I think today's cinemas are
Corporate.
yeah. I like the ones that have been like, you get a brand new cinema and you go in and you start destroying things in it. I wouldn't recommend destroying it, but I like the ones that have been a little bit more run down.
Yeah, they look a bit distressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a cinema just literally just around the corner from the Odeon in Leicester Square called Prince Charles, and all they do is show old films, and it's just like, if you ever get the chance to go, they do marathons, they do that. It's great. I managed to see the original Die Hard trilogy there.
Nice.
And before they and it was on like, it was, you saw the old 15 at the beginning, so it must have been the original print. And before it started, the guy that was announcing it was saying like, oh, for anyone that's confused, Die Hard is a trilogy. There aren't 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And we were all like, yay! So I'd love to see. I mean, I'd love to see these in a marathon.
Closest thing I ever came was, I think it was '94. They did a special final screening before they were taken out of circulation of the Star Wars trilogy, and I was
pre-special edition as well. Well, that's a treasure trove now, isn't it?
Oh yes, and it was a time where Star Wars wasn't popular, and and the more I go on a nostalgia trip, especially with films like Indiana Jones, and I'm reminded about how cool we had it back.
Yeah, I know. And like, it's just the John Williams score as well. It's just, I just don't think films sound like that anymore. I think all scores sound like Hans Zimmer now, don't they?
Oh yeah. The one that John Williams, the one that actually I think is the most underrated, considering, because people just remember the shark theme, Jaws.
Yeah.
I think that it holds up. All of it.
It tells a story if you listen to it, doesn't it? Like, you can imagine that's a good thing. John Williams scores are all like that. You can listen to all his scores and you can play along the film in your head. Yeah. I used to listen to a lot of music when I was trying to go to sleep, and I used to always listen to the Star Wars trilogy, and you could just imagine each scene playing out. Yeah. Before. I mean, you get reprises and repeats of the motifs in the films that you don't get on the soundtracks, but I think that's just more for editing purposes, isn't it? But you can, with Indy as well, you can do it. And Superman. It's my favourite film score of all time.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's both John Williams.
Yeah. So. This is a testament. I was in Wales a few years ago, and they had this Save the Oceans and a Shark model in this one of the shopping centres, and they had the Jaws theme playing, and cool. I was like, it clicked in my head, I've been saying for so long that I want to get the Jaws soundtrack, and luckily there was a H&V in the area, so I went in the H&V and I was like, do they have Jaws? Do they have Jaws? So I picked up Jaws and a couple, I picked up Jaws. Yeah, it was Jaws that time, because the time before I picked up the Indiana Jones trilogies over 3 days. I was like, back in, go, got a Indiana Jones, I'm having it. But
it's a really short soundtrack, isn't it, Jaws? But it's like straight to the point, and there's no sort of messing around. I mean, because some of John Williams' scores are a lot longer, aren't they? Like things like Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. They're not they're not the sort of scores I could sit down and listen to on their own, whereas these ones are. I don't know, maybe it's because of the nostalgia, but
I think it's a subject matter as well.
Yeah.
You got more serious themes, whereas with Indiana Jones,
it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's pure escapism.
Was it like the Duel of the Fates from
Phantom Menace? I mean, that's one point I always made. When everyone went through the whole like, I always hated the prequels phase. They clearly lied about. I always, that was one thing no one ever sort of said was bad, wasn't it? They said that if you do have to take one thing that's great from them, it's still the music. I love the Indiana Jones punch sound as well.
The lighting.
Yeah. And they've always got like a second in command bad guy that's huge. He kind of gets on my nerves in this film
Yeah.
a little bit, like the constant switching around.
Yeah. I thought, you know, I would have. My thing where I really find it hard now, because I know I did have a period where I would literally tear a new one, but I find with films like this and a Rocket Man, for example, as well, is that I like what they were trying to accomplish with it.
You can see what they're trying to do, can't you?
And for somewhere down the line, you just got lost in translation. The interdimensional beings,
Yeah.
aliens. I'm sorry, George, but they're aliens.
It's like getting your maths question wrong on your exam, but showing you working out, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And it's like you can appreciate all the work you've done. You just got the answer wrong.
I remember that from the trailer.
Yeah. Oh, and we've got the little bit of fan service coming up shortly.
This was kind of a period, wasn't it, where like, you know, from this to maybe around 2015 when Force Awakens came out, where they were sort of throwing older action heroes out again, weren't they? I mean, I always remember a line from The Last Stand with Arnie, where he's like, "Oh, are you okay, Sheriff?" And he just goes, "Old."
Oh, this
the Ark
of the Covenant. The thing is, we go for the older ones because the new generation just can't do it. It's all. And it's the the films that they make, not just the fact that you got your Arnie, your Sly, your Harrison Ford.
It's how to use them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they've all done. I don't know. The only person I've not seen do a lot of direct-to-video stuff is Arnie. He does seem to choose his projects quite.
But he was the former governor, wasn't he?
Yeah,
so...
the governor.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of his politics, weren't you?
I was. I like what he This is what happens when you knock things. So if anyone can hit for those little noises going on just then, that's what happens when you try to figure out why this is being why when you hit something when you're podcasting.
Well, at least they're not copyright noises.
Yeah, that's always the thing. If you're going to do a podcast, make sure that you don't get something that can be flagged as copyright.
Which nowadays could be fucking anything.
Yeah.
Sneezing.
And they will sue you, or threaten to sue you, or demonetize you.
Yeah.
Which I'd like to have the money to start with, so if anyone wants to give us money. That's actually quite gruesome.
That is, yeah. I forgot about that. I mean, there are some like gruesome moments in all four of them, but
they're practical.
Yeah, they are.
But
I was thinking mainly of the exploding heads.
Oh, that was.
And the face.
Oh, the gophers again. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the gophers. Like, is that significant or?
I'm not sure, but
he's just trying to George Lucas cute thing we can sell.
We can merchandise them like we did the Ewoks. In the words of Jean-Paul Sartre, goodbye, gopher.
I haven't seen that film for years.
We watched it the other day after watching Afterlife, and it was
it is good. Yeah.
It's true what he says in Raiders. It is not the years; it is the mileage.
Yeah. Which is basically just a posh way of saying, I'm not that old. We're coming up for strangely everyone's biggest problem with this franchise, which I don't get.
The riding the refrigerator.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the jumping of the shark for movies.
But it's a film like series where there's a box that melts Nazis and the Holy Grail and a dude that can pull hearts out without killing someone. What are you expecting? Documentary realism?
Yeah, but it's a nuclear bomb and he goes into a refrigerator, which is dangerous for children. That's why the time machine was not a refrigerator in Back to the Future. So for him to do that is really silly, and for him to actually survive it without any radiation poisoning. Yeah. In a film that's got
how dare they?
Yeah. and they're watching Howdy Doody, which is how they start Back to the Future Part 3, which was 1990.
Oh my god, yeah. Didn't even realise that. Well, for all the younger listeners, this will probably just remind them of a Call of Duty.
Oh, they play that?
Nuketown.
Oh. I've no idea what Call of Duty is other than a video game.
It's just a first-person shooter, but there's a map on the multiplayer called Nuketown, and it's basically just this, where there's like plastic people and... I know Harrison Ford looks so offended all the time, doesn't he? Like, by everything.
I'm gonna get lynched for saying this. I liked him in the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I did as well. That was the extent of removing radioactive threats back then, wasn't it? Put on goggles or turn away. Hide under your desk.
But isn't it the theory is if you're doing something, you're keeping yourself occupied, and you're taking, you know, it's all about giving you some hope when there is none.
Yeah, because I don't really think they knew how.
They wouldn't.
How it worked back then, did they? Even when they made them.
But if you say to someone you're screwed and there's nothing you can do and there's nothing we can tell you to do that's going to save you, it's no hope, and this breeds more panic rather than
ever remember. Yeah.
Rather than going, if you do this, you might it might help you survive it.
Terminator vibes there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the problem is because this is when they were still seeing seeing how far they can push the limits with CG, and it has dated this more than the practical.
Yeah. I mean, the other ones still look fantastic, don't they? I mean, there's a couple of dodgy shots, but you kind of feel like you can put up with it more in practical, can't you?
Oh yes.
Like the zombies being purple in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. I have no issue with that.
No, it doesn't bother me. It really bothers Tom Savini, apparently, though.
I mean the nuclear bomb, the mushroom cloud, that is actually quite good. But
it's a good image, isn't it? Yeah. Indy looking up at it. It sums up that decade, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I like this bit where he moves the brush up. Just put ball juice on his chest again there. I desperately want to see a prequel about them in the war.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Janitor from Scrubs. And I'm sure the other guys.
So it is, yeah.
I think the other guys from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He looks like Miguel Ferrer the other day, a little bit.
If I'm right, he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The later seasons. And that's where we find out Indy was there for as well.
There's probably nothing he wasn't there for. I think it is a shame as well you don't that they didn't get Connery back for even for just for 5 seconds or something, you know.
He retired after making League of
Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah.
Isn't that Allendale was
Jim Robinson from Neighbours in the 80s?
Oh,
if anyone watches that.
Oh, what do you know for now?
Well, Sarah watches Dynasty on Netflix. He's in that as well. But I've seen him in quite a few things, actually.
Marvel's Winter Soldier. Was it Avengers?
Oh yeah, he's one of the council members, isn't he? Yeah.
Hard to get ahead in movies these days, being Aussie so back.
Yeah, I know. You could tell, can't you?
Yeah. at least when you got to Indy 4, unlike Die Hard 4, where they changed the format, Indy's still looking for
he does what he
the
does.
artifact. Whereas like with Die Hard 4, it was like John McClane's no longer doing one man against the world.
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
a
John
superhero.
Yeah,
That was never the point of Die Hard. I mean, each one he kind of had like a sidekick, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that was the point. Like he needed help. Whereas it gets to Die Hard 4 and it's just Justin Long.
Yeah.
Like computer and about.
And there was always he was either stuck in a building or in an airport or in New York City.
Yeah.
And it was like he had a limitation as to where he had to do to save the day. And
yeah, I just think the whole like they were just pushing the whole John McClane's old at you, like, whereas they don't really do it. They do it as a joke in this, but there's a great big bushy beard.
Yeah. Oh, he's brilliant for the greater good.
For the greater good, yeah.
Jim Broadbent, who was absolutely fantastic in
Hot Fuzz
and Moulin Rouge. Hot Fuzz, though, yeah.
Oh, I've not seen Moulin Rouge. And also, for those of you that are only Fools and Horses fans, plays Slater. And Bridget Jones's dad.
I won't hold that against him.
I like Bridget Jones. It's my guilty pleasure film.
And he's in Harry Potter. He sounds like Slughorn there.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Do you think when they were doing Harry Potter, they said, "You sound like you sounded like in Indiana Jones"?
Yeah, because he's a teacher, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a picture of Brody there.
Yeah, Denham Elliott.
I think they named him that because of Jaws.
Probably.
I never actually even thought of that.
Me neither.
Marcus Brody. I remember it says, lost in his own museum, huh?
I hope they bring back Salah.
Yeah, I think they will.
I like how Jim Broadbent's character is actually loyal to Indy.
Yeah. I love how Indy's a bit of a dick, though. He's like, yeah, I bet you told him everything, didn't you?
But look at the amount of times he's been betrayed over the years.
Yeah.
I love this line. Love this line.
Oh, I like that one as well.
Yeah.
This is obviously like height of the McCarthy thing, isn't it? Where everyone's a communist if they don't agree with you.
This bit coming up, I just think it's just superb, and I use it myself now.
A rough couple of years.
We've reached the age when life stops giving us things and starts taking away, and that's especially when I look at all the films that I grew up with, and then it's like
losing the stars from
and it kind of like, I know it's not the same as what Indy was going through, but when you're looking at your childhood films, and the big one, Star Wars, and then you're going passed away, and it's like you get really
sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like the fact that they used the Grail theme there as well.
Yeah. Isn't that a Marlon Brando look with Matt?
The wild,
right.
The wild one, I think it is. It's from. Yeah, I'm actually quite ashamed to say I've not seen many of his films. To be honest.
I've seen 2.
Is one of them Apocalypse Now?
Yeah. Okay, 3.
Ironically, probably his best performance. Godfather?
Sorry, I've seen more here. Yeah, I forgot about The Godfather. I was thinking Superman and Superman 2.
Superman, yeah, I forgot about Superman. I really shouldn't have there.
Nope.
I always wanted to know how he got off the train here. Unless he just met him at the next station. Like, it just cuts, doesn't it? The convenience of editing.
Told the thing to stop it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Oxley,
John Hurt.
Yeah.
Also Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I love this scene where he dips his comb in that guy's coke.
Yeah.
I actually like Shia LaBeouf a lot more now. Have you seen Fury with Brad Pitt?
No, I want
He's
to.
fantastic in that. He actually chipped his own tooth to stay in character and didn't wash and stuff like that.
Ooh.
I always sort of think, oh, method actors, when you hear that shit, don't you?
But if it gets the performance. Now the exposition scene. I mean, the problem with anything after Raiders is when they did the perfect exposition scene with the chalkboard, which we've discussed in the podcast before. So anytime you get an exposition scene, it's sort of like you're trying to equal perfection.
Yeah, it's got like, I think all the indie exposition scenes they're quite energetic and they're not boring, are they? I mean, there's exposition scenes in other films where you literally like switching off. I think that's one thing I do think is a problem with the Marvel films when they try an exposition for ages. And like one of the recent ones I actually nearly switched off with was in Spider-Man Far From Home when Jake Gyllenhaal's talking about the multiverse.
Yeah.
And like, it goes on for so long, I was just thinking, I even forgot Samuel L. Jackson was in the room. Well, kind of Samuel L. Jackson. But I think indie's always had a good way of just giving you the information while there's things going on to cast your eye about.
I mean, exposition scenes can actually slow down the film, but
sci-fi suffers from it, doesn't it? Because you have to explain things that the audience might not be.
But who's saying it?
Well, even like even the it's the dark times before the Empire.
Yeah.
That's a really good exposition scene because we keep cutting to different people's reactions, and then he brings the lightsaber out and.
But he's the old wizard.
Yeah.
He's the old wizard. He's an interesting character who's just about to
give you the quests.
Yeah.
And if we know anything about George Lucas, he does like his hero journeys, doesn't he?
Marshall on the back of the jacket, Frank Marshall.
Yeah. Is he's married to Kathleen Kennedy, isn't
he?
Yeah. No relation to JFK.
No.
Now, proud owner of Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Do you think she's done well with it?
I like what she's done. I like the fact that she's.
It's hard to own something that hugely popular in a time like this where everyone's a sour little
troll.
Yeah.
Fucking little troll. It was the anniversary recently of 8, the Star Wars Episode 8 coming out. And what I always do is when anytime it's like an anniversary and Star Wars the Star Wars social media puts up or puts up happy birthday to such and such, and you got all the people clicking on a dislike button or writing comments about how it's the anniversary of 8, and it's like, yeah, this film made me hate Star Wars. This film did this. This is like, fuck off, please, because people like these films, and it really annoys me. If you don't like a film, why are you wasting your energy, and why are you trying to convince other people to think like what you think?
Yeah, why did you buy a ticket to watch it?
Yeah. These people, which when 8 came out, and it's like a 2-hour video on YouTube. These people slagging it off, and they're dressed as fucking Jedis.
Yeah.
You're thinking, well, if you didn't like it, why are you still dressed up?
Yeah, with models on the table and.
Yeah. I mean, what would for me to go out and actually go, I want to buy something from this film. It's got to be a good film.
Yeah. This is actually quite a good chase scene, isn't it? It's very indie, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
He's so good with scores, isn't he, John Williams? Yes. He's just like, everything just relates to him.
And you think about all that he does, and you still maintain the vibe of the character that you're doing for.
That you left off with.
Yeah.
However long ago was it? 18 years.
Yeah. 19.
19.
I mean, you can. It's like when you hear the Superman theme, you know it's Superman, not Harry Potter.
Definitely, yeah.
And the whole Wizarding World, well, Harry Potter Hedwig's theme, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's actually called Hedwig's theme, isn't it? Yeah.
Or Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Yeah. That's another underrated score.
Yeah.
Of course, taken the piss out of by Family Guy as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always thought Star Wars would have been your favourite of his themes. But it's ironically not mine either.
I think, the Star Wars main theme is so ingrained in who you are. From piece of music can be ingrained, if you understand where I'm coming from, is that in terms of I always use it's the end credits, the Washington end credits for Raiders, and where you got the entire
the march.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything. To me, that's like excitement in just like bound into a little ball and just going. This is what an exciting heroes.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Thing. You can go. If you can imagine, if you decided to excavate somewhere, you could literally have that going on in the background.
Yeah.
And even though we're old enough to know better, you can imagine yourselves as being Indiana Jones as you're digging up the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I was even whenever I used to one of my guilty pleasures was the Tomb Raider films.
Yeah.
And I used to just hum the Indiana Jones theme because she's basically just Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
She, any action hero archaeologist. I think Star Wars is bigger than itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
The theme, so it's like James Bond. You can play that anywhere in the world and someone will know what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas there's actually motifs in this where Wilhelm screamed there, was it?
Yeah.
You can there's little sort of motif themes in this that you like the Grail theme and the Ark theme and stuff like that.
He's in the middle of a chase and he stops to educate a kid.
It's still his job, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to see that kid be the next Indy.
Yeah. That would be cool.
You gotta get out of the library, kid.
I mean, when I was a kid, I did at one point want to be an archaeologist because Indiana Jones is so cool.
You wanted to be a Jedi at first, and then a smuggler, and then an archaeologist.
Yeah, because I mean, you get to the age when you realise that Han gets to go.
Yeah.
Indy gets to go.
Yeah, well, we've said this quite a lot, haven't we? About Han dying.
Yeah.
He's not the most important character. He's the most interesting.
Yes.
Luke has to be boring, doesn't he? Technically, main characters always have to be not boring, but to an extent, they play out their role linearly, don't they?
Yeah.
Whereas you get the scoundrel character who's always the fun one.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting with Indiana Jones, even though he is an academic and he is the central character, he works.
Yeah.
Yet when you give Jack Sparrow the lead for the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean, it just didn't work at all.
Because he's not. And he works not being the lead, doesn't he? We've said this loads of times. I didn't actually realise that till you said that, so that's kudos to you. But when I always said to you, why does Stranger Tides not work? Because I've never seen it. And then when I saw it, I got it. What you said.
I think if this is actually something that only came recently, is with if you ever want to figure out why something works, ask yourself why it elicited the emotion. That I love it. Going back to the traditional. I got to point that out. I love that, and I'm so glad they didn't change it. Is why did it elicit that initial emotion? The first trailer for Episode 9.
Yes.
I was literally so emotional, and I literally watched it back and again to find why am I reacting like this. It was something simple, just like the music.
Yeah.
Why why did I leave Schindler's List so angry? I used to bug me because I got out of the cinema after watching Schindler's List. I was so angry.
You wanted to punch Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, I really did.
Whatever it is.
Then it was like he gave such an incredible performance. That's why I always still maintain to this day, that's to me the most perfect performance I've ever seen, because he wound me up so much with the character. I hated the character, but I hated the character because he played not the character, the person. I don't know how to describe it. I hated the person so much because of how his interpretation of him.
Something that I think something like Game of Thrones played on as well, didn't they? With characters like Joffrey and Ramsay as well.
Oh,
like you hate them so much, but if you sit and think about it, that's good because they're doing their job properly, aren't they?
You said to me about David Bradley. You said you're gonna hate David Bradley once you've watched it, and it's like, whoa! But it's Ewan Rian. I was like, wow, what
good
a
bad
monster.
Guys in that show are good bad guys.
Yeah,
like, there's some duds, but I mean, it's just
Joffrey, like you said, kid. And didn't you say he's retired or something?
Yeah, he gave up acting after he was, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Game of Thrones yet somehow, after he was killed in that, he gave up acting and he was doing ironically I think he was doing a degree in like archaeology or something.
That's such a shame. He
didn't, just acting wasn't for him kind of thing. So
he's a talent now.
He was good, yeah. Nice as hell apparently as well, like all the bad guys. Same with one bad guy that always just terrified me when I was young. Two actually. There was Michael Ironside. Yeah. He's always a bad guy.
Yeah.
And Kurtwood Smith in RoboCop.
Yeah.
I don't know why he used to terrify me. I think he's just the way he's so happy about blowing some innocent guy to pieces. But they're both apparently really nice guys in real life. I mean, Michael Ironside's a fucking legend, isn't he?
Yeah. I was maintaining because it's like how people like Carrie Fisher and Jim Carrey and Robin Williams, who had that complete reverse to their personalities, yet they could do comedy better than anyone.
I know.
If you can be the nicest person in the world, it also means you got the flip side of the coin, which means you can portray. You just take everything you are, then you just flip it on its head.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I always used to think, how people like Jim Carrey and Robin Williams had bad mental health when they always looked so happy, and you never realise when you're a kid, do you, that it probably does take a toll to be that funny.
I mean, you look at Carrie Fisher. The way she was
immensely hilarious.
Yeah,
she was so she didn't have any bullshit about her, did she? It was all just, I've had a bit of a shit life. Let's laugh about it. Together. I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch Wishful Drinking, the stage show, it's great, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Where she basically says that her family tree's a straight line.
Yeah.
The Hollywood 101 thing as well. She's so good. I love how as well that when she died, it was kind of around the time that The Princess Diarist was released, wasn't it? And Harrison Ford was getting a bit annoyed about it, and then he sort of had to be nice, didn't he, when she died? So.
I don't think there was any malice whatsoever.
No,
it was just something she wanted to get out.
Just a grumpy bastard in general, I think. He's probably the only person I wouldn't. I don't know. It would be cool to meet him, but
that'd be scary.
He might be a bit of an asshole, mightn't he?
The thing is, I've been lucky. I've not met someone that I truly thought I don't want to watch any of these films ever again. Yeah. And it's always.
I don't know. There was who was it? You said was at one of the conventions, and he was like, "Oh, Doctor coming through."
That was the Sixth Doctor. I was in a distance, and all they could hear in the background, because we were looking at something, and it was always their break, and Colin. All I could hear was Colin Baker going, "Doctor coming through," and I was thinking, I think he was being funny, he was being funny, but I just thought the way he said it.
Well, you'd have to be that way, wouldn't you? Because he's fucking looks like Jabba the Hutt. I hope he's not listening.
Yeah. Go listen to the Doctor Who podcast. No, we'll never podcast any of these episodes because I really did. I turned off Doctor Who when and did that for him.
When was that? 80s.
80s after
Yeah.
Davison. Davison! Sorry, that's my Toaster of London reference.
Now Peter Davison's quite cool though, isn't he?
Oh, he's cool. I liked him in Toast of London.
Yeah, I like Toast of London. Anything Matt Berry.
Yes. Jackie Daytona, regular human bartender.
So
Mark Hamill.
Luke Skywalker that episode.
For the record, because obviously if you're watching this, you obviously, or listen to this, you obviously like Star Wars anyway, or you wouldn't be. If you like Indiana Jones, you like Star Wars.
You'll definitely be pissed off if I was talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't. That What We Do in the Shadows. I would have liked even if Mark Hamill wasn't there, because I just think Matt Berry's Jackie Daytona.
Isn't it? Oh, I got a runaway Skittle.
Yeah, my one. My skill.
By the way, Skittles can sponsor us anytime they want.
Yeah. I do like the studio sets like this.
Yeah. Is this bit from the trailer where he's like part time?
Yeah.
Yeah. They use a different take, don't they, in the trailer?
I mean, if you look at things like Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, where they have Jedi even, or the original theatrical trailers, you can see like scenes that never made it.
Yeah. The one I always remember from Empire is the one where 3PO goes to walk into the, or rips the sticker off that door, isn't it?
One good thing about the Star Wars Blu-rays is you get all those, and this is what I'd love to see with Indiana Jones, is a decent box set. Is that you've got all the deleted scenes.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure Blow Darts work that way.
It's Indiana Jones.
But it's funny.
It's a silhouette like this, eh? And even though I do like Mutt's traditional 50s costume.
Yeah. Kind of sets the stage, doesn't it?
Mm.
This bit reminded me of you tossed me the idol, I tossed you the whip.
Yeah. Stupido Sapito.
Was that his name, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you know, when we go back to the whole practical, it is so much superior.
Oh yeah. You can see they put work into it rather
Yeah.
than just sticking it on a computer. I mean, I'm not assuming that people that do special effects on computers don't know what they're doing, but it's just.
As soon as we're all slating CG and everything, one that I thought was absolutely fantastic was the original Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because even though it's got John Knoll on it, and I didn't notice it, I wasn't paying really any attention when I first watched it. Because I spent the entire movie going, how the fuck did they do this? Is this puppets? Is this this? Is that? And then you realise John goes, Jesus Christ, John Knoll. CG. I'm like, Jesus, and I still maintain it holds up.
Yeah, it looks great. Steady on that.
Yeah.
Was John Knoll the one that came up with the idea for Rogue One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had a hand in Photoshop.
Yeah. So rich then.
Yeah. What's money? But he's like, yeah, I've got this amount in the bank. I worked on Star Wars.
Yeah, can't really beat that.
Yeah.
Was it Rob Coleman was the other guy, wasn't it?
Yeah. He had a Jedi named after a CG Jedi named after him, Coleman Chibor.
Oh, did he actually?
Yeah, just really, the fact that I've got that lodged in my brain.
I didn't even know
something,
that.
yeah. Yeah, it goes to show you, and this is something I think we might have done it on a podcast, but if you look at the name, George Lucas was good with names.
He is very good, yeah. Even on this.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. I mean,
Not Lang.
Wanted to be Smith, wasn't it, when
Yeah.
Spielberg was there? And I think Duke was just like, no, leave that to me, Steve.
I said Mutt Lang. That's a record producer, isn't it? It's Mutt Williams.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Mutt Lang's the Guns N' Roses guy, is it? No, AC/DC, isn't it?
Producer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Mutt Williams. Sorry. But that's the giveaway. This is one thing I didn't like. It's the same with Superman Returns.
Yeah.
With a name like Mutt, you just know it's
Yeah.
Mutt, Indiana, dogs. Whereas like with Superman Returns, it was like, yeah, you just know that Lois ain't going to sleep with no one other than.
Clearly not his son.
No. Which goes back to.
I must admit, one of the greatest things I've ever seen is the scene from Crisis on Infinite Earths where Brandon Routh's Superman again.
You've seen it now.
I've seen that bit.
Yes.
It's just. No, I like now the thought of things like I'm assuming they're doing with the new Spider-Man film, where by using the multiverse you can see the other versions that we still we don't want erased from the continuity. I don't like the Amazing Spider-Man films, but it'd be great to see Andrew. What's his name? Andrew Garfield. I forgot his name.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, people say I look like him.
I'll have to get you a Spider-Man suit. I'm not going to say anything because I know that it's literally just out.
Yeah.
As of recording, so I'm not saying anything about the Spider-Man No Way Home because
He's a day oneer, aren't you?
I'm a day oneer, but I'm not allowed to say anything about it because I feel that it's.
You have common decency.
Yes. It's like when 2008, it was like social media was still in its early stages and everything.
Yeah.
But now it's sort of like as soon as you do get people, and a lot of them. As I was saying something, I was chatting to someone this today about Spidey, and they wanted to know who died, and it's like I'm not gonna. Does anyone die?
Why do you want to know that though?
I'm not saying anything, but they knew certain plot points. I said, how did you? So I'm just curious because I'm not going to see it at the cinema. And it's something I came to a long while ago. Conclusion I came to a long while ago is that some people put their whole sense of self and social standing by the fact that they've seen something
that you haven't. Or that they know something you do, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I'm sharing it with the world because I've seen it first. And
do you know that there's actually a psychological thing that explains that? It's called the spoiler paradox, where our brains don't like being spoiled, but if we know what's going to happen going in, we switch off and enjoy the film easier. It's actually like, I mean, I don't feel like that way, but it's like a tension or anxiety that some people have where they have to know what happens or they can't settle down, and I don't really get that because films are supposed to be tense, and edge of your seat is referring to the fact that you're in a theatre, isn't it? I mean, originally it's probably for plays, but that's how I always described suspense: edge of your seat, not edge of fucking the internet.
Cinema to me is when it's done right, it's a drug. And
it's an opium, isn't it, for the masses?
And if you can, because I'm quite jaded, especially at the moment with a lot of what they're putting out there. If I can sit in the cinema and wanting to enjoy something so badly, then finding out 2 examples. Last Night in Soho and Ghostbusters Afterlife. I did the elements in both of those films. I knew the ending of James Bond. But
oh no, I did, yeah. But I sort of guessed. I guessed a 50-50 ending, but I mean, it was still great.
But the bit where the bit where I would go the bit where they're on the Thames, Q and Bond, and they've got the On Her Majesty's Secret Service playing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And that is like a shot for me. It's like, yes.
What do you know what I liked as well about that, using the Majesty theme and the Time in the World, All the Time in the World, was that I actually heard some people saying, "Oh, what were those songs?" And I thought, yes,
Yeah.
it's only ours that
Yeah.
would get that. As you know,
We have
like,
ownership.
Yeah, there's like a resurgence of that film being
Yeah.
like an amazing film now, isn't it?
Which is my favourite James Bond film anyway, so
Well,
it's like... I mean, we can discuss James Bond in this because we are doing as of next year, we are doing celebrating 60 years, 25 Eon films, and we'll go through the others as well, hopefully.
And Sean Connery was in it. So.
Oh, yes. And he did get a kick out of this when this came out originally at the cinema.
I think everyone lies about the whole... I don't know why everyone's so ashamed to admit that they liked a film that a lot of other people don't like. Like, who cares? Like, I could like Rambo 3 even though it's a trash piece of shit.
It's terrible fun, but
it wouldn't affect our friendship, would it? Or...
The one thing that really annoyed me is when episode 9 came out and people did want you to feel the same way they did, and you know,
without even seeing it though.
Yeah,
like I don't get it.
You'll never ever with Rise of Skywalker. You'll never be able to take away that feeling I had.
No. When
I sat for it the first time and I felt like an 8-year-old
watching Jedi again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was probably of all three of them, it was the one. Like Rogue One was like, oh my god, that was amazing because of you know, it was set back in the classic days. But yeah, it was like because I popped as well when Wedge came on screen.
Yeah, oh, that was brilliant. That was that was
just like. Like it just had the excitement and Lando and all that, you know. Who cares if there's like plot holes and
that was it. Your reaction now is priceless. I was like, that's cinema.
It was one like thing I wanted to see in the whole like trilogy. I wanted to see him back, and finally we did. It felt like the end of an era as well. Again, you know, like we did with 5.
Yeah,
3. Sorry. He actually does, doesn't he? Harrison Ford's got that sort of classic gruff good guy that you know, like you'll always cheer for, hasn't he? Even in his like one-off films, you know, like Air Force One and things like that, you're always kind of like, yeah, that's fucking Han Solo as the president.
I like him in Blade Runner.
Yeah, and I like the Jack Ryan films as well.
I haven't seen
They're
years
good,
ago.
Yeah, I really like them, and Vader's in them as well.
The thing is, when we're with Blade Runner 2049 and the Star Wars ones, he comes in just right. I mean, one of my favourite Harrison Ford bits was, even though it's probably my least favourite of the Star Wars movies is 7, but the bit when you're waiting for the dropship to come down with the general in, I was like, it was.
They kind of they already gave it away in the trailer that Han was in it, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I suppose like they had to give you one of the originals in the trailer, and obviously like the bit at the end with Luke as well. I always thought that was funny because he doesn't say a word, and I think he was paid like millions of dollars for like 2 seconds of screen time, wasn't he?
It would have been nice to see.
But it's the callback, isn't it? Yeah. You don't see them together, do you?
But it's. I mean, we are talking nostalgia with India and with the galaxy far, far away, and the fact that we still want to see these characters, even though they get older.
Yeah.
They're not even that old.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said to me recently that they're thinking about Lethal 5.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really know how I felt about that because I think it's been too long, and it ended perfectly anyway for me.
I've read that apparently there's a Mel Gibson has stated that he's going to do Lethal 5 because he was working on it with Richard Donner or something like that. But I don't know. You hear so much stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Believe it when I see it. Same with the Indiana Jones 5. I was like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
And then when they went into production.
I mean, Mel Gibson's actually quite a good director.
But it's,
it's just
I do agree, but Richard Donner has a energy,
touch.
and it's you can't. And that's the only, like I said, James Mangold's for Logan, superb movie.
Yeah, I mean, I actually hope when Wolverine is in the MCU that it'd be great to get him to direct.
Yeah,
I think he really got Wolverine, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I was actually late to the party with Logan. I've only just watched it recently, and I have everyone you were saying you need to watch it. It's great. I really enjoyed it.
That's why I think Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because you got an OG. When I say OG, I mean as in anything. I think modern day movies is in terms of superhero genre is Nolan and Christopher Nolan and John Favreau.
Yeah.
But before 2007, you've got
Sam
Raimi, and Bryan Singer.
Someone who you'd never have. Sam. When I heard Sam Raimi was doing Spider-Man, I was like, surely not. What, the Evil Dead guy?
Yeah.
And Peter Jackson's directed Lord of the Rings. What, the splatter guy from the 80s? But sometimes it takes the person who's not in that genre to do that genre the best.
Oh yes. Danny McBride, writer of
Halloween.
Yeah.
Abrams with the Star Trek reboots. Yeah. It got people talking about Star Trek again, I think.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely dead, wasn't it?
Star Trek was so dead.
Yeah, I think it was like 2002 was like the 90s for Star Wars was for Star Trek, wasn't it? And I think by simplifying it and making it, because it was more of an action, wasn't it? But it did have the bits in there for the fans. Yeah. That's how you do it. You bring it back to the whole audience.
Yeah. You don't want the audience you don't want the audience you've got. You want the audience that you haven't got.
Yeah, and we'll bring it back popularly. This might seem like fictional, but apparently I read up on this. The Soviets did actually try mind control. I mean, the CIA did with MK Ultra, didn't they? So it's like their version of it. But I think they were a bit sort of crazier with it, like getting monkeys hooked up and trying to talk to them telepathically. I'd love to know what drugs all these leaders were smoking like that. That reminds me of RoboCop for some reason. Oh.
Sound design.
Yeah.
With the Crystal's Girl.
Here's a hard question for you. Do you see Indiana Jones or Han Solo when you look at Harrison Ford?
Indiana Jones.
Really?
You?
Yeah, I think it. I don't know. I used to only just see Han, but I think when you sort of get older and you respect these films more for, because we've said this as well, haven't we? They're really popular, but they're strangely underrated. Yeah. So yeah, I think he is indie, isn't he?
You get. I think in the recent Spielberg in the recent years, I mean, because of E.T., Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, that he's. People forget that Raiders of the Lost Ark and Jaws, and to me, Jaws, is Jaws and the Indiana Jones films are as important, if not more important, than a lot of movies. But you've also got with Indiana Jones, you've also got Star Wars, and that is the problem.
Yeah.
Kept his word. I mean, I would say, especially with creators, if you look to them, the Indiana Jones fans, and if you're of a generation, if you like Star Wars, you automatically liked Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think they were playing on that success, weren't they? Because
Yeah.
1981, wasn't it? So it's after Empire.
Yeah.
I do see a lot of Han in Indy though.
Yeah.
You know, like the.
Apparently, George showed Shia how to use a comb.
Oh really?
Yeah, because like the way they did it, because George carries a
back
comb.
in the days, yeah. Does he still carry a comb?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
they did.
He's still got fucking loads of hair, hasn't he?
Yeah. Which is brilliant. I like it.
I love Marion.
Oh, yeah.
You rescued son of a bitch.
If you look. Oh.
What it is if you want to make a kid.
Yes.
Giggity. I love they got Karen Allen back.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? Because she sadly sort of petered off, didn't she,
Yeah.
after the 80s? I've only seen her in a few films.
It's what makes it work, is the bickering. Oh, he's brilliant as well.
John Hurt. Yeah.
I mean, John Hurt, the original Chestburster.
Yeah. Also Harry Potter.
Yep. And the War Doctor.
Yeah. Oh, was that when they made up that there was a doctor in between?
I did it in the name of peace, but not in the name of the Doctor.
I remember going to see that in the cinema, that 50th anniversary. I actually really enjoyed it, but I didn't know what the hell's going on because I'd never watched Doctor Who before.
Charlotte wanted to go and see it, but we couldn't because we were watching Nickelback that night.
That's kind of better.
Depends on who you're talking to.
Nah, Nickelback are definitely cool.
Oh yes. Well, I reckon that was a dig at the people that do not like Nickelback, because people are assholes. Some people are. If you don't like Nickelback, it's your choice, but just don't tell the whole world over the internet that you don't like it. I liked him.
Also, Chancellor Sutler. Isn't
Yeah,
he?
I was about to say that. V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
And I watched it about less than that when I watched 1984 with him in.
Oh yeah,
Blew
yeah.
me
That's
away.
really good actually. It's quite depressing though, isn't
It
it?
is. I always when we do the studio tours, I always take a few moments outside Ollivander's.
Yeah. Like a tribute.
Yeah, it's two places I always do, and then just stand silent for a while. Is the potions class for Alan Rickman
Yeah.
and Ollivander's.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, we've lost Kane from Alien
Yeah.
and Hans Gruber.
Yeah. I remember when Alan Rickman passed away. He's only really remembered from one or two roles, Die Hard and
Yeah.
and Harry Potter. But look at the amount of people he touched with those two roles.
Yeah. Phrasing.
What
Phrasing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. I that's what.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
He made a major impact on a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, is it bad that you're remembered for certain roles?
No, because you.
We're looking at one, aren't we?
Yeah. They inspire.
I remember. I think the worst sort of bummed out death that really bummed me out as well. I mean, obviously Carrie goes without saying, but
Yeah.
I felt like I'd proper ruined your day when I told you about Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, did you see the news about Peter Mayhew?" And you were like, "No." So he's just died. And then I thought, "Oh shit, I've just fucked his day up."
Yeah, I was glad you told me, because if I got home, I'd be wondering, I was alright till I got home with him. Then it was just like,
because he's the other side of the Han coin, isn't he?
yeah.
He's no one without Chewie, is he? I kind of felt bad that everyone glossed over Kenny Baker being the first one. No, surely he's the most prominent character, isn't he?
He's one of the ones that got a lot of my generation into it.
And if you listen to a lot of fan theories, he's the one telling the story. Yeah. That's why there's a title crawl.
That was cool.
I do like that. It's sort of George Lucas thing as well, isn't it? Yeah. Telling stories and R2's the kind of guy that would like say, "Oh, the reason I'm in it a lot is because I'm the main character."
Yeah. Oh, R2 is such a cool character.
I remember when I went to see episode 7, I actually teared up at the moment when C-3PO puts his hand on him and says, "Oh, it's been so long, my old friend." Yeah. I was kind of like, "Oh my god."
my big memory of 7 was I didn't see him killing Han Solo off. I was like, right there. Yeah. And I couldn't.
Makes sense though, now, doesn't it? Because he wanted to die in return, didn't he?
I don't remember anything that happened to him. I was like, just
asshole.
Yeah.
Really I mean, Adam Driver's great as well, though.
Oh, he is. He's superb. I love this bit.
Why don't you make him go to school?
It all changes to this. It's the whole snake thing.
Yeah. Bet she said that a few times.
Yeah. She grabs it a few times before you got nuts. It's his reaction. I think that's it looks like a real snake because I thought it was a really good animatronic.
That's not actually true. Have you ever felt it?
No.
Again, phrasing, but they actually feel really soft and velvety. I was really surprised. There was like a car show I went to with my partner, and they had like a house of reptiles, and someone had a snake, and I've always wanted to like hold one. Again, phrasing.
Did it spit at you?
No, it didn't. No, and it was like he said it's a friendly snake, but I don't think they ever look friendly. But yeah, they felt velvet, which wasn't what I was expecting. And then he got a tarantula out, and I ran out. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to touch it either.
The beginning of Raid has always been there. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming he did that for real.
Yeah. I don't think they get away with a lot of things because you think of it, the amount of places they stick them, and you know.
Yeah.
It'd be like the whole humane society would be kicking up a stink.
Yeah, because I imagine like in a lot of older films they actually do kill the animals, don't they?
What was it? Is it Apocalypse Now where they slaughtered an animal?
Yeah, and Friday the 13th they kill that snake, don't they?
Yeah. Couldn't get away with that today.
No.
Jealousy, even though he was the one. Yeah. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. I love how even the bad guys are like, "Oh, just shut up, man." Like,
the thing is, this is real relationships.
Yeah.
That's what I love is when they do shit like this, and it's so like.
I missed a treat there, having him say "I'm your father."
Yeah. I think because they have an argument, and yet it's still.
It's like the banter between him and his dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, dude, you just shot those guys.
I love this bit as well. Well, the souls, isn't it?
Yeah, the Marion theme.
Yeah.
I love her face as well.
Yeah. It's true, there are loads of women, but they're just that one, yeah.
And it's kind of like it's a riff on the truck chase from Raiders as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Only with a lot more CG.
Yeah, so it hit me right. You know, in movies, you've got like guy meets girl, or girl meets guy, or
whatever denomination they like.
Yeah, because it's going to be PC today. And the hero falls in love with the one that's going to be rescued. You know what's clever about Indiana Jones is they have a history, even right before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
So there's no sort of like forced relationship.
No.
Because there was a relationship that just gets rekindled.
They had chemistry anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's part of that whole dodgy, is in the pedo thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I was a child. That just meant she was fucking younger. There's no
not like not Jimmy Savile situation.
No. So the one thing that really annoys me is the PC brigade nowadays.
Oh
you
yeah,
can't do
you
this
can't
because
say anything, can you now?
it's. The thing is, I've proved it before, is that if you want to find something to get, if you are pardon my language, a total gobshite, and who wants to make a name for yourself, you can literally take the most innocent film and tear it apart find something that you'll plaster all over the internet. And
definitely with these, you know, because they sort of do that whole outdated thing about tribe people being cannibals and that, don't they? Like, but that's just like it's representative of a 40s serial. That's what it's supposed to be. And a lot of the stuff that they did, you know, with the blackface, because if you know where I look, you can find it. Not in this one, but in one of the others. But I mean, it was wrong, but it was a product of its times. Yeah. And it's just to get some of the nerves. Yeah, it's like the whole thing with Tarantino, isn't it, where they say he uses the N-word too much, and like 2 of his films are westerns. That's what people said then. Like, I think even Samuel L. Jackson's defended it, hasn't he? Oh yes. Like, that's how people talk in certain places. And he gives Samuel. He uses it the most. Yeah, doesn't he? No one says. I mean, they even you know, you got the race. You got Walter Goggins. Yeah. And Samuel L. Jackson. The polar opposites, aren't they? Yeah. And yet they both band together to fulfill the wish of the hangman. Yeah. So where you get to hear about Samuel L. Jackson's big black dingaling. or making the real villain in Django Unchained. Yeah. Yeah, so when he's like, you think he's this annoying old guy, and he's actually like the biggest cunt going, isn't he? Yeah. John Hurt looks good with long hair. He does, yeah. But he is good in V for Vendetta. Yeah, I haven't watched that for a long time, actually. I can't remember when I watched it last. It's again with another Star Wars alumni in it. Yeah, Natalie Portman. Yeah. Forgot her name there for a second. What's happening?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Natalie Portman, who's in Thor Love and Thunder, and Dark World and Thor. And you've got, from Ragnarok, you've got Kate Blanchett.
Oh, yeah.
And John Hurt was V for Vendetta. I'm trying to think. Shia LaBeouf, Harrison Ford. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No. Shia LaBeouf is always Transformers, wasn't he? I always remember from that.
Terrible movies.
The first one's passable.
Here's my grandfather's glasses.
Yeah,
here's his things.
There's an example of how not to do an exposition scene.
These are going to become useful.
That's a bad MacGuffin use, isn't it?
That is terrible.
The old nut shot joke there.
Isn't she in Lord of the Rings as well?
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
She is indeed, yeah.
Galadriel. Oh, I can't believe I I lose points in my own mind.
She's quite naughty in that as well, actually. With her pointy ears.
Oh. So
also, if you go even from V for Vendetta,
yeah.
we could just go on forever.
Yeah, and Transformers.
And Transformers, yeah.
And they just get a voiceover light for Endgame. Or is it Infinity War? Infinity War, sorry. And Endgame.
Yeah, it does sound like him though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What was that? Was that a pay dispute or something, or was it?
I just think he didn't like it.
Oh right.
She has got that spark about her.
I love her, yeah. She's good as Queen Elizabeth as well.
Ah. I miss old school cinema.
I do, yeah.
Oh God, no! The Tarzan
moment.
Yeah.
Looking at when I was saying about Kate Blanchett being Elizabeth I, it just reminded me I haven't seen Clive Owen for a long time.
No.
Was he like retired or just not?
Probably straight to video. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I loved Clive Owen.
He was good in Children of Men, yeah.
Yeah, we were depressed like fuck
after
that film, weren't we?
But it elicited an emotion. Yeah, you should do.
It was very well made.
Yes.
It's got Maud Lebowski in it as well.
Yeah.
So.
Julianne Moore. We're going back to the whole just watching it because it's good.
Cinematography is good as well, isn't it? Some of the background shots look a bit dated, right?
Yeah.
But like that.
I think the thing is, when you decide you want to play around with a film that's going to go under the radar, try and perfect it.
Yeah.
Then so you don't have things like this monkey scene.
Yeah, it's just that's. It sounds bad, but that's too George Lucas shot at it.
Oh, yeah. But then again, they've got the Tarzan,
Tarzan scream thing.
Yeah, when he does on Endor.
And it's also in Octopussy as well. Bond does it, doesn't he, as well?
Which I'm looking forward to doing next year.
Yeah. Can't believe it's 60 years.
Yeah, still looks good though.
Does indeed.
That's so Harrison Ford.
Is it fuck Harrison Ford?
What?
That's not Harrison Ford. Is that what you just said?
I said it's so Harrison Ford.
Oh, I thought you said that's not Harrison Ford.
No, it's so Harrison Ford. You know, the way he did it with the scream just then.
This.
Or should I say Indiana Jones?
Yeah. This bit's kind of... weird as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the ants. I actually watched them recently.
Oh yeah, it's quite good, isn't it?
Brilliant, because we found it cheap on digital, and we wanted to watch it because Scott and Cassie watch it.
That's right.
What's her name? Hope.
Yeah. It's kind of the right vibe for this.
Thing is, this is the beauty of a good film is that when you want to, if they're watching something, you want to see what the characters are watching and them for.
It's like in Halloween, isn't it, when they're watching The Thing?
Yeah.
And ironically, John Carpenter would remake that.
Oh yeah. But it makes you.
They do what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of like the Pat Roach character, isn't it?
Yeah. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. I always just remember him from my mum and dad used to watch a program called Alfie Eat His Own
Oh
Cat.
yes.
Yeah.
Bomber.
Yeah.
And he was a wrestler.
He was, yeah. He's a big guy, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
There's always like sort of horrible, creepy crawly scene, isn't there, in India?
That is gross.
He's not too old for this shit, is he yet?
No. The thing is, I always think, when you think about how old he is now, and how old he was when he was doing this, and can the younger generations relate to a character that's in his 70s?
Yeah.
Or 50s would have been.
It's always a problem, isn't it? We can, because we've been there from the start.
Yeah.
But you have to always think you might have someone in there who's never seen it.
Yeah.
I know that's a stretch, but you have to always assume, don't you?
And you've got an old man.
Yeah. Who can't be related to.
No. Except for if they're the mentor wizard, not as the leading male.
Yeah.
Or female. Whereas we watching Marion and Indy, because we grew up with them, but now, I'm kind of fascinated by how the younger generations either through their parents or through what they find on social media or their peer group will say, well, we can watch this, but we don't watch this.
Yeah.
Whereas, I'm gonna be fascinated to see the demographic.
Yeah.
When Indy 5 comes out, because I always like looking at an audience. Whereas with something like Star Wars or the Marvel films, you've got the kids to the old.
Yeah, or like the new Ghostbusters.
Yeah. But then again, you've also, I remember in '97, with the special editions, you had adults and you had kids, but the kids were there because of the adults, because Star Wars still hadn't made its way back into popular culture.
Yeah, it's those adults' kids that were there, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, you're going to love this film, and these kids are sitting there bored out of their mind.
But it probably also worked the other way, where they were like, oh, I just saw this film called Star Wars. My dad said it's amazing. Like, but I think it did resurge the popularity, didn't it?
Yeah. She got such a nice smile.
She has, yeah. remember going to see the special edition actually, like it was yesterday.
25 years ago next year.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember, what did they do with releasing them? Was it one...
Every 2 weeks.
Was it every 2 weeks? Yeah.
We had to wait after America had got it, the States. We got it every 2 weeks because they didn't expect it to make the money.
And then you could watch all 3 of them, couldn't you? If you wanted. Or did they take them away?
They took them away, but they did Star Wars, Empire and Jedi as it was. And it's... Yeah, it was a brilliant time.
I remember that, yeah. I always remember it because when we went to see A New Hope, me and my dad, the sound was fucked on it at the end, on the trench run. And... or like it was sort of cutting in and out intermittently, and my dad went out and sort of said, "Oh, the sound's not working in there," and they stopped the showing and took us out, and he was like, "Can we just go in another screen because we have paid?" And he was like, "Yeah." Cool. And we got in, and it was like earlier on, so we got to see the film.
I went down to London to see him.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah, because I was at uni at the time, so it was like, went in there. I remember I went to London, Leicester Square, watched it. They had to clean up the cinema. Going back in stream for the next screening. Because but seeing them on the big screen again, and the sound quality was super.
Oh yeah. Is that where you saw George Lucas?
I was a major distance away. It was a couple of days before.
Oh right.
I was worried because I put my university first, and I was right at the back of a queue, and you could see him like a little dot, but you knew it was him.
Yeah.
And it was just...
He'd have his shit kicker shirt on and jeans.
It's 25 years ago. All I remember is just being right in the distance as the premiere was taking place.
Yeah.
But it was just good to be down there. This is when there's nobody dressed up. Now you see other people, which goes to something I've been thinking again recently. Is that it's amazing how our generation is the ones that have actually, we laid the groundwork for all that you kids have today. You can thank us for it.
The geek chic.
Yeah, we're the ones. Cause I remember when they started re-merchandising the toys, and they were still just toys for kids, and it would be like buying a porno mag. You'd literally have literally have your Star Wars figure in your bag.
That's how old we are. We call it a porno mag.
Yeah. Internet porn when it was all on paper.
I love the opening scene of The Nice Guys. Always makes me laugh. Looking through his dad's porn.
Yeah. I love that.
Oh, it's great. It's an unofficial prequel to Lethal Weapon.
Oh, yes.
In my head.
I always say Lethal Weapon meets The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. These films all have like the same structure, don't they? Yeah. Which is a good thing. Set design's so good, isn't it? Even in the midst of the bad CG. I'm not going to lie, but if you hold that skull the other way, it looks like a penis, doesn't it?
Yes.
Or is that just my head?
Or the alien head.
Yeah, that's got to be a reference, hasn't it?
Was it? Oh, he's in the other film he's in, John Hurt, Spaceballs.
Oh yeah, where he's like, not again.
Yeah. That is another. Yeah, I'm lucky I can say I saw Temple of Doom Crusade and Kingdom of Crystal Skull on first run, and 20 years ago they did a special screening of Raiders.
Oh right.
At a local cinema, and I was like, I'm going. That's why I love it when we do when we create playlists and project movies onto the wall. I mean that's.
And have the trailers.
Oh yes, that's just there's no substitute sitting in the cinema with an audience and watching a classic movie. But
Well, I like that whenever our local cinema does it, and they play the trailers from that year, don't they?
That's brilliant.
It's so good.
I think that they need knock down the prices like £5 a ticket. Show make a big event of it. I think you get a lot of people in the screens.
I think they missed a treat with that with COVID.
Yeah.
Like they weren't making half as much money because of not enough people. So show some older films.
Yeah. Northampton did View Cinemas for
yeah,
showing.
Because like a lot of the big films went put on hold anyway, weren't they?
Yeah.
So
I worked out the other day that Spider-Man was the first, might be in the first film that wasn't delayed.
Yeah.
Because you got to like Black Widow or
No Time to Die.
Yeah, Ghostbusters, Quiet Place 2. They were all literally
knocked back.
Yeah.
Did you say Black Widow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and this is another thing which, and I hate to be negative, because is that the release patterns now.
Yeah.
It seems like you got a month in the cinema, then you've got either going straight onto streaming within 2 months, or it's going straight onto Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Within 2 months. That's giving people no incentive to sit in the cinema other than those people that are the hardcore
fans.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, viewers. Yeah, I mean, there's that film, isn't there? The Last Duel.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott film, and I really wanted to see that, and it's just gone straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah. Limited release, then straight on it, and it's frustrating.
I think I kind of in my head though I'm thinking that's so that House of Gucci got promoted more.
Yeah.
Because it's probably the star moneymaker one, isn't it? But because he did both of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't put Ridley Scott on streaming then.
No.
Like, there's older films maybe, but not his new stuff.
Martian.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
Just put on streaming. I can't. Like he's one of the OGs, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like I keep saying like a lot as well. But yeah, I mean it's just I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it?
I mean, I wasn't I was a fan. I loved Prometheus when I first saw it. I wasn't a major fan of Covenant, but it's grown on me, and I think it's other than there was a few things I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
But
you can see what they're trying to do again.
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean Ridley Scott's had a couple of duds, hasn't he? But he's still a fan. He's one of the best directors out there. Still, he's in his 70s, I think, isn't he?
I'm so glad I saw Covenant on the big screen.
Yeah, same. Well, it's the last Alien film we've had, isn't it?
Yeah.
For a while. And Blade Runner as well. I know that wasn't him, but it's his world, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's like with West Side Story. I was determined to see that at the cinema, not because I knew nothing about the movie. I'm not a fan of the music that's in it after watching it, but there was no way I was not going to show some support to Steven Spielberg on his first venture into musical, which I think is a superb film. You don't have to like the music, but it's a superb film. But I couldn't not after what how much joy he's given me. I couldn't say I'll just wait for it to come out because it's just The thing is, with things like this, with Indiana Jones, it is a pleasure. These films are a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I mean, this is just my opinion, and this is not saying this is a negative. The only Steven Spielberg film that I've ever seen I truly 100% hated, I just think it's a terrible movie, was AI.
Oh, I thought you were going to say E.T. there.
No, AI, I cannot stand it.
Yeah, War of the Worlds is pretty bad as well.
Yeah, but AI is
terrible, yeah.
Terrible.
That's because that was one of those studio interference films and wasn't meant to be his film, and I think he was just sort of fulfilling what Kubrick wanted, wasn't he? But I mean, if you cut the ending out, it's bearable, but it's literally the worst ending I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched it since it came out, actually, because it's so bad.
I had it on DVD, and I no longer have it on DVD.
Yeah.
One of two films I've actually had on DVD and binned.
Oh really? What was the other?
Friday the 13th, 10. 9.
Oh yeah. Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never gonna watch this again.
The final Friday.
Yeah.
The second final Friday.
Yep. Oh, it's terrible.
Have you ever walked out of a cinema?
No.
No.
I've always wanted to know how films end.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose. Yeah. I thought. Did you not walk out of Dark Fate, or did you say you wanted to walk out?
I wanted to. I was going to. It was a terrible fucking film.
That's awful. Yeah.
I paid my money. I'm going to see it to the end, and I'm going to review it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I have. I feel like I have, but honestly, if I did, I can't remember where it was or when it was.
I turned one of the Escape Plan sequels off. I turned off Ridiculous 6, and I said I never want to watch this. I don't care, because I always like to see how films are going to end.
Yeah, I don't like Adam Sandler anyway, to be honest.
I like him, but I just didn't like that film.
Probably the best film I've seen him in a long time was Uncut Gems.
Oh, I want to see that.
Really good. He's really good at being serious, actually.
Ray Winston's character isn't that good in this.
No. When I heard he was in this, I was quite excited, actually.
Yeah. Going back a little bit to Jim Broadbent in the Hot Fuzz, as is Kate Blanchett underneath the mask.
And Peter Jackson as Santa, isn't he?
Yeah.
Probably the only film I've ever wanted to walk out from was 50 Shades 2.
I couldn't, because the boss. I have not seen the second and third, but I saw the first. That was a Payback movie.
Same for me.
What was your Payback?
Episode 8. Alright.
It
It was one of the Star Wars films.
Yeah. Mad Max.
Oh, Mad Max is great though. Then you have to see that pile of shit.
I'm kind of lucky, with the exception of Bullet to the Head, which was a terrible film.
Oh god, yeah, that's.
If I get the I have to see this film vibe, the boss will go along with it.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that and thinking, Jason Momoa and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
You've sold me. I don't know, I was halfway through thinking, if they say the title of this film one more time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kick off.
That's a bullet to the head. Isn't that the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets?
It looks like it, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, Kenneth Branagh will come popping out,
Yeah.
won't he?
So you got to stick your head in the hole that looks like a penis.
Giggity. That looks like a penis.
It does.
Looks like the door from Shang-Chi, doesn't it? Where the what's it called? The Devourer of Worlds or something,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's a good film.
That is a good film, yeah. Made 10 times better by Awkwafina, isn't it?
Oh yeah, she's very Katie.
Yeah.
Oh, she is. You know, I like one thing is she's not your traditional like.
No.
Oh, she's so sexy.
No, but there's something about her, isn't there?
She's
just a normal friend, isn't she?
she's brilliant. She is. She's got that energy about her.
Yeah.
Her and we can say this. Her and Trevor.
Yeah.
Screen.
Yeah. I was even more like in love with her when I found out she's got a song called My Vag.
Oh. She's. That's how you do things right with casting with that one. So, we have got glass aliens. interdimensional beings.
Interdimensional beings, yeah.
I know about repeating and everything. It's a George Lucas thing, but now
it's getting beyond the joke.
Yeah.
And what is it he says in that famous thing about copying for the prequels?
It's everything rhymes.
It's like poetry. Everything rhymes, and they're all just going, yeah, all right.
The prequel trilogy that he had I think we should have everything CG.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rick McCallum?
Yeah.
What do you think,
say,
George? Do you like it? Yeah, go along with exactly what you want.
As we know from our paid job, it's totally how corporate people act, isn't
it?
Oh, whatever you want, yeah.
We get exactly how you want it. So it's like, George is coming. We've got to give him exactly what he wants.
Yeah. He wants to sell my child into slavery. Give him exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
Whereas I like the idea, the atmosphere where what's his name, directed Rogue One, Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
When he said George Lucas was on set and he couldn't concentrate because George, the guy that created it, is sitting right there. But apparently he was just like, there's nothing to do with me now. You do sort of thing.
I would not be able to.
No, it was like when they did. He said when they did the voice recording with James L. Jones.
Yeah.
They kept deliberately going, "Oh yeah, the sounds are a bit funny, James. Can you do that again?"
Yeah. You wouldn't want it. Oh, I wouldn't want it. You go in the presence of James L. Jones.
Someone who ceases to age.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He just looks the same, doesn't he?
Oh yes. And he's good in Coming to America too.
I still haven't seen that actually.
He's not in it for long, but he's got that infectious smile.
It's a voice as well that never dies, isn't it? He's about to use a Star Wars reference in a minute, isn't he?
Oh. Turn the ship around.
Was he the first one that ever said that in Star Wars?
Got to be. It's A New Hope.
I'm sure it's him.
Because I got a bad feeling about it. Said turn it around. So yeah. I'm gonna say yes. I think.
I think we sort of laughed out loud in cinema, didn't we, when that?
Yeah. You know what a Star Wars quote I've been using a lot lately, and I think it's because of all the stuff that's been going on, is, well, hello there.
Yeah. Well, hello there. It's the way Ewan McGregor says it, though, isn't it? It's you see, like, you close your eyes, you think Alec Guinness is actually there. Hence why we're all psyched out of our nut for Kenobi.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or whatever it's called. What is it?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Is it Obi-Wan Kenobi? I think it sounds better as Kenobi.
Yeah.
Do you not?
I'm calling it Kenobi. Interdimensional
Is that
beings.
George Lucas having a go at the audience there?
Yeah, it's not anything, it's interdimensional beings. So interdimensional, does that mean it's the multiverse?
Now, that would be a cameo of the century, wouldn't it? Yeah, they're all getting sucked up to the MCU here. Yeah. That's how fucking Kate Blanchett ends up.
Oh, that would be so cool. They can do it, they own it.
You could do, yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Thanos is about to do the snap and the Falcon comes in.
Just crushes him.
Yeah. No, it'd be Darth Vader.
Oh yeah. No, you can't do that. You can't kill Darth Vader douchebaggy though.
No. He just uses the lightsaber. You have Stormbreaker, I have lightsaber.
Yeah. That'd be the fight. Great fight, wouldn't it?
Right.
Thor and Vader.
Ewoks and Groot.
Yeah. I hope they do all this shit in Ready Player 2.
Oh, yes.
That'd be just fucking amazing, wouldn't it?
Ready Player One, the film that got me watching The Shining.
Yeah. Yeah, you hadn't watched it for, what was it, 20 years?
Over.
Was that a conscious decision, or was it just...
It freaked me out.
Oh, it freaks you out, okay. Like
No,
The Exorcist.
Yeah. As if I never will watch that film again.
What is it that freaks you out about The Exorcist?
It's been over 30 years, but it's just something about it that I just didn't like.
Isn't it strange that it would seem to be a film that would only scare religious people, but it doesn't? It absolutely terrifies me, and I'm not religious whatsoever. I think it sort of plays on like that fear that everyone has, doesn't it? Whereas, maybe if you are religious, it's worse.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just, yeah.
I cannot remember it now. All I remember is that I don't know. After watching anything, and I never want to watch it again.
I went to see that at our local, not before our cinema came here. They showed it at the Cube at midnight. It was scary. Was that like a lightsaber sound I just heard there? A Sith lightsaber sound, you know, when it makes that hissing sound.
You know, that whole Lady Yoshi evaporates. That would have been better if it had been, you know, like Raiders style.
Yeah.
Or Crusade with the Donovan.
Yeah, yeah.
I know with wax models and everything, you know, you can tell it's...
But they looked cool, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the scene in Raiders is still quite gruesome, isn't it?
It is.
With the head exploding and the... I mean, isn't it... Didn't they put like a flame filter over it because... so that it wouldn't get an R rating?
I wouldn't surprise
If
me.
you actually watch the scene, there's like a slight filter over it with a flame, and it was because they got an R rating.
Ooh.
Especially with the tote one, which the face melts.
That's gross.
That's horrible, isn't it? And you can tell it's like wax now, but it's still creepy.
It did freak me out as a kid. Like, it's like
creepy.
one of those, even though it was a PG on the original release, you know, you close your eyes or put your glasses down the bottom of your nose so you can't see over them.
Yeah. Have you seen the sketch on Family Guy about, you know, when he's like, "Don't look at it, Marion." It's
No.
like, "Indy, I'm pregnant with your child," and he's like, "Maybe look at it a little bit."
I will have to watch that episode. I don't like shots like this shot because you can tell it's...
Yeah, it's too CG, isn't it?
Interdimensional beings when it's got a traditional UFO, aliens.
Of course it is. It's cool though, isn't it? Like, it's just a... This is what aliens used to look like, wasn't it?
Oh yes. Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah. The greatest, worst film ever made.
It's not that. I like that
I
film.
think it's actually quite funny. Pull the strings! Pull the strings!
Fuck Boris Karloff!
Oh, that's a great film as well, isn't it?
Ed Wood.
It's just Martin Landau playing Luke Gracey. It's just hilarious.
Even though it's the composition with Indiana on the left hand side is still...
It reminds me of the end of Two Towers. Where the trees are all smashing down Christopher Lee's big tower.
I'm
giggity.
Yeah, the boss said she wanted to watch those the other day.
And you said yes, of course,
No.
didn't you?
I think it was the Payback movie.
Giggity. I could just say giggity all the way through this, can't I?
Yeah, I like Quagmire, so... Fortune and Glory.
And the reprisal of the Grail theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Ray Winston walked out with a shitload of gold earlier. So
Yeah.
what are you on about, Indy?
He's dead though.
Well, is he though? Did he go into Black Widow in the MCU?
Could be in multiverse.
I'm sticking with this whole this UFO takes
The
you to
Disneyverse.
MCU. Yeah. Space Mountain.
Yeah. Alien Encounter, the George Lucas one.
Yeah. Junior.
Ooh.
Burn.
Yeah.
Apply ointment to burn. I wonder if he ever took her home to meet Henry Senior.
Yeah. This is how you handle women.
Yeah. Oh god, that's not funny, but it is. That guy's raging there, isn't he? That he just made him fuck that hen up. Oh,
well, if it could, yeah, Sean Connery was allegedly.
There's nothing alleged about it. Because women have to get the last word in.
Yeah.
So they need a slap.
Oh yes.
That's what he said, not what I said.
I've learned if you're going to get into an argument with a woman, make sure you're faster at running than she is.
Exactly. Make sure they stay down. We're not wife beaters, just to clarify here.
No, we're scared of them.
We're not wife beaters because we're not married.
No,
We're just regular beaters.
Yeah, I am scared of women. I'm not going to lie.
Scared of women. And we don't condone domestic violence.
No, because if
Shame
you...
Sean Connery does.
Yeah.
Every time I see him slapping someone on Bond, I know that was probably real.
Yeah, and he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Can we do another take?
She looked at me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Next take.
Oh, we're gonna be having all this out next year, aren't we?
Yeah.
I like to think that's Henry Senior's ghost.
Yeah. This is where everybody thought that Shire was going to take over.
And he's like, nope, mine.
Yeah.
Great play out as well. Just
yes.
Wedding and indie theme. I like to think Harrison Ford was actually having a laugh there.
Yeah, and this is one where you do want them to live happily ever
Yeah.
after. So I hope they don't kill him Marion off in the next one.
She's still alive, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we go out with the whole hero theme.
Yeah, you got it, haven't you?
I know we seem to have talked about everything, including Indiana Jones. This has been a really enjoyable podcast.
Yeah, it just sort of bleeds into everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because Harrison Ford's in like every film ever made.
all the good ones of the 80s generation.
Were you like a proper Harrison Ford all the way in the 80s when you were a
Because it
kid?
was Star Wars.
'Cause that's probably what confused a lot of people with Blade Runner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yes, Han Solo's in this. Oh, what the fuck's going on?
Because you're too young. Oh, I remember when I watched Blade Runner for the first time, I was like, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah, you've been too young, weren't you?
I was way too young. Then a few years later I watched it, had my mind blown, and just rewound the tape and rewatched it straight afterwards because it's...
Found a second life on video, didn't it?
Yeah.
Especially, and then the director's cut, was it 91? The first director's cut.
They came on VHS.
Yeah.
For some reason I'm saying they got a cinema release in 97, I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
it was my university period.
92 it came out for like the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that. Well, no, I don't remember that. I mean, I was 4. I remember my dad saying it came out. My dad's not a fan.
It's an acquired taste. I always said
same with 2001. I mean, I was watching. I remember recently I watched that on Now TV, and my missus was sitting next to me on the bed on her phone, as they do. And
that's so
she's
fucking
like,
annoying.
What's this? And I was like, it's a film called 2001. You know the theme tune when it starts. And she's like, oh yeah. And then half an hour in, she's like, does anyone talk in this? This is a bore fest. And I was just like, get out.
but that's the thing is, and if your partner is sitting there watching you're trying to show this work of art or something you truly love,
And it is.
And all you see is them on the phone. Are you watching this?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm watching this. But I was just checking this. I was doing something important. Like, no, put your fucking phone down. And the worst thing is, and I'm going to try and do this, I'll go on a complete rant because I'll be here all night.
Well, you've got the credits to go.
Yep,
So.
is cinemas, put your fucking phone away. Stop your conversation as soon as the film certificate comes. I mean, shut the up.
Yeah, definitely. The only distraction I'll ever put up with is someone's going to the toilet.
Yeah,
You can't help that, can you?
no. But it really annoys. I think that thanks to COVID, that people are so used to watching films at home and they can just sit on their phone and start conversations.
Yeah, especially we sound old here, but especially the youngsters.
Yeah.
I actually quite like going to see a film that's got an older audience. Yeah. You know, like I think I was saying before we started recording about the new Dune.
Yeah.
Like I went to see it with my dad, and you know, me and my dad have always been fans. I mean, my dad, we didn't like the original film. I do now, like on reflection, but we both love the books, and like it was an older audience because it's quite a heady sci-fi thing, isn't it? It's quite cerebral. So there was less people in there, but they were all older. Yeah. So I think they were a lot more respectful. And it's nice. It's nice when you get that audience. Oh, like I mean, you can still tell that they're enjoying it and they'll laugh at certain points and stuff. But it just does my head in when people just. Well, I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's exactly what you said. Yeah. They're too used to sitting at home watching it on streaming. Then.
I want especially when it's the first screening, is I want it to be immersed. I don't want to hear some assholes.
Yeah, talking about what they did Friday night. Yeah.
It's. Oh, sorry, I love this bit, this music. So I just go. I love it when they do the reprises into the. Yeah.
I did it in episode 9 as well, didn't they?
That's beautiful. That was
a surprise, actually.
Yeah. That was really the music. I was so choked up. Yeah. Then they're going into the main theme on that.
Well, it was the first time we'd heard it like that. Yeah. I mean, obviously you hear it on the opening crawl, but
I'm gonna love it sitting in the cinema in 2 years' time or 1.5 years' time, just and listening to the Indiana Jones theme on the big screen again, which is.
I didn't realise Stan Winston Studios did the effects for this. Stan Winston's one of the greats as well, isn't he? Terminator, was it? Alien? Both? And Jurassic Park was.
Jurassic World was Dennis Muren, but Phil Tippett was Dinosaur Wrangler when they were doing it with the stop motion.
That must be so cool to say, like, I'm a dinosaur wrangler. Yeah.
It is beautiful. It is a great theme.
It is, yeah.
Good to jock.
It's like Superman, isn't it? It's one of those songs you can put on when you feel down, and it just brings you straight up. Do you know, I really felt. Speaking of Phil Tippett, sorry, I felt really sort of sad recently. There was what documentary I was watching where he's talking about. Oh, it's on the movies that made us. Yeah. On Jurassic Park, when he says, like, I don't have a career anymore because we don't use stop motion, and I actually thought that's really sad. Yeah. I love stop motion.
I mean, my generation knew Phil Tippett was because of the AT-ATs, essentially.
Yeah, and Ed 209.
Yeah. And that still looks better than all the shit they put in the reboot.
Looks better than the Rancor.
I do not like the Rancor. So that's it. That's been Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which we enjoy.
Yeah.
And quickly, before it goes into
faults, but everything does, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I know we've discussed everything but Indiana Jones at points.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, that's been our celebration of Indiana Jones, a year long.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
Finished.
Yeah.
Sad.
So if you're still listening, which I hope you are, next year our theme, we're going to do our usual podcast, but our theme for next year is James Bond 007.
Happy 60th.
Yeah, and we're going to throw into there, it's probably going to be quite a good year because we've got 20th anniversary of Spider-Man, 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones, and the 40th anniversary of, are you ready for this? The Thing?
Yes.
Not Blade Runner. It's 3. We've got the big 3.
Runner,
Thing, Blade Runner,
E.T.
and E.T. So expect a big franchise war on those ones. Actually, I think it's going to be it's going to be an interest. That is going to be a good one. That is. You know what I was going to say. This year I really appreciated Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I love those movies.
More so than your traditional. Like, it's nostalgia, isn't it, mostly? Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to get a new perspective on things you think you know.
Yeah. And watching them multiple times is...
Yeah. It's always a pleasure, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. This has been the High Ground Podcast. I'm Stevie.
I'm Callum.